I started volunteering with Indivisible right after the Trump election. So, kind of the fiery resistance burst in January of, I guess, 2017. And so, Indivisible was a lot about activism and resisting the Trump agenda at first, a lot about saving the ACA and healthcare. And then we gradually had transitioned into more proactive work. Particularly educating voters and mobilizing voters. I mean, it's certainly more energizing over the long run to fight for something can constantly feel like you're fighting against something, right? So absolutely, I think our volunteers definitely find it, it feeds their spirit to go out and register voters and give them the tools and the information that they, feel more comfortable going and being able to vote, not just for the president, but all down the line, because in Arkansas and in the Little Rock and Pulaski County races, there's so many undervotes. So that means, people go and vote for the big names that they've heard about, but then they don't vote in the judicial races where they're not familiar with the candidates. So that's something in Pulaski County that we're working on right now, is just making sure that all the information's out there about the judicial runoffs and about the, city board candidates and the Little Rock school district candidates, so that people feel comfortable, voting on all of the races, which will impact their lives. But, maybe they just don't have the information. Because that's another thing about Arkansas is, like, why do we not have, voter information from the state, nonpartisan voter information? That is a form of voter suppression, right? So definitely that's something that our volunteers are pretty motivated about, is getting voter information into the hands of voters so that they actually know, they're comfortable going to the polls. One thing that has been so really meaningful is to work with so many of our partner organizations here in Arkansas, folks who have been doing this for so many years and who, take us newer Indivisibles under their wing and mentor us a bit. So we really feel welcome and encouraged, and that empowers us to do more. So anyway, I've just really have loved, getting to know a lot of these advocates, and we look forward to, returning the favor in the legislative session next spring, when folks are going to be working on, tenant rights and immigrant rights in Arkansas and decarceration, criminal justice reform. So call on us. We'll show up at the state capitol and support our partners in making sure that a lot of this reform work gets passed next year. So the big thing that we're working on this year, though, is our VIP Voters Issues Project. And so we have adopted 5,000 voters in Central Arkansas. And these are voters who also care about, justice and equity in our public policies. And so we've sent them absentee ballot information. We are now, dropping door hangers about early voting. We'll send them election day reminders. We're sending them candidate information with some ballot information, because these are voters who don't always vote because they're busy, they don't have the information, they don't feel confident, and maybe they just don't have a reason to vote. And we are trying to mobilize them on issues that they care about, such as healthcare for all, or, COVID response that actually takes science into account, or, actually provides support to our frontline workers, for example. So this is the kind of voter information we're getting to them so that they can, feel like their vote's going to make a difference on these issues that they're being impacted on right now, as Arkansans, for example, are dying and getting sick from COVID. And we have a government that's not responding in a way that's keeping everyone safe. I love the idea of, having a government that when we all vote, if every single person who's eligible to vote in this state did actually go vote, we would have a government that reflects all of us. There would be someone that would be elected across the state that would actually bring every more or less every voter diverse experience to, the state legislature, to the city council. So I'd love to see, look up my government officials and not have it be mostly older white men, I'd love to have we have a Call My Reps page on our website. And I'd love for it to actually look like we all look, here at the convention, CFC,